I'm Wendy from Balanced Health. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making succulent chicken breast. Most people feel that chicken breast tends to be a very dry protein, but it doesn't need to be. So I'm going to be teaching you today a little bit of the tricks into making the most succulent chicken breast. With making anything in the kitchen, your top priorities are fresh ingredients, cooking with love, and bringing out the boldest flavors you can. I do this with the least amount of salt and oil, so it's just more healthy for you. So with the chicken breast, you want to make sure first that you get chicken breast that is free-range, antibiotic-free, the best protein that you can get. The next thing that we have to worry about is how evenly your pan heats, because the coating of the pan is going to determine the evenness of the chicken breast itself. So the cast iron pan that I use here is very old and very well seasoned. And when we heat it, what we're going to look for is a ring right around the center. So that way the heat radiates in as well as out to evenly heat the pan. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our heat on. Now a lot of people make the mistake of putting it on too high, but we don't want to do that. We want to cook it down at about a medium low. And we're going to put a little bit of oil in the pan, and we're going to use about a teaspoon of oil, which is going to create a puddle that's about 4 inches in diameter. We're going to let our pan warm up for about 2 minutes. We're going to start to swirl our pan around to get the oil evenly coated. And then we're going to add our chicken breast. Now the chicken breast itself is about 1.25 inches in thickness. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin. This is going to cook at about 5 to 7 minutes per side. And we're going to put it on the skin side down first. Now, with many meats, you have to worry about cross-contamination. This is where you really have a lot of influence of bacteria, and they can make you ill. So we want to avoid that, so we're going to take it directly from the package into the pan with the least handling as possible. So we're going to put that skin side down. We're going to press it out a little bit, and then we're going to season it. And today we're just going to do a very simple seasoning. I love Penzeys spices. They're very fresh, least amount of sodium, as well as they have very bold flavors. So we're going to get a lot of impact from a little bit of spice that we're going to be using. So the first spice that we're going to be using is going to be a smoked paprika. Now paprika can be hot or sweet or smoky. It's a very large chili. And this one tends to be smoky. I just love that grilled smoky flavor without having to go outside onto the grill, whether it be summer or winter. And this one is an Ethiopian spice. This particular one has a very hot cayenne powder, cumin, and this one here we're not going to use a lot of because it's going to give us a little punch. So as you can hear, the chicken is starting to sizzle in our pan. So I'm going to generously coat this with a little bit of the paprika to get some nice color. This not only adds flavor, but it's going to have a beautiful color to it. Our skin on the opposite side is going to have a nice golden hue, and when we turn it over then and we coat the other side, you're also going to have the color of the chicken. Now what we're going to be looking for is we're going to be looking for the chicken breast to be just a little bit opaque, about halfway up the chicken. So then that's when we know we're going to flip it. This usually takes about 5 to 7 minutes. It doesn't take that long at all. You can cook these beforehand. You can put them on top of salads. You can warm them up later with potatoes or kale or whatever you might like. So my biggest thing, cook once, utilize it many different times. So today's chicken breast, we're going to be making for 2 people. Generally speaking, you want to have about 3 to 4 ounces of protein per meal. Each chicken breast tends to be about 8 ounces. So this will be enough for 2 people. As you can see here, it's starting to become a little bit of translucent on the bottom here. Now, you don't want to touch it. Let it be. Resist. Do yourself a favor, just resist until it gets about halfway up. At that point in time, it will release very evenly because it'll start to caramelize on the bottom, and that's where you're going to get a little bit of crunchy surface to it. So we're just going to give this a few moments, and then we will flip it over. So as you can see, the chicken is opaque about half of the way up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it. But before I do that, I wanted to teach you something real quick. It's very important with all meat to know what temperature you want it to get to. An easy way is by feeling the skin right in between your thumb and pointer finger. When your finger is relaxed, you will feel it be very soft. Same thing with raw meat. See how soft that is? Now as you make a fist, that portion of your skin there gets tougher and tougher. So what we want to do is not make a full fist. Just close your hand and you'll feel that there's some give to it. That's where we want to get the chicken to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it. Look at that beautiful, beautiful color that we have there. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just started to caramelize. Now what we're going to do is we're going to season the other side. We're just gently going to put on some more paprika and more Burberry. And then we're going to let it cook for about another 5 minutes. Now if we do this test right now on this side of the meat, it will have a little bit more give than we want, but see how it's a little bit firmer? Just like if you close your hand right here, okay? So now we're going to let this cook for 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to turn off the heat and cover it up. Okay, so we've been letting it cook for 5 to 7 minutes. Now as you can see, when we do the fork test, see how firm that is? You know your chicken breast is done. It's not going to be dry at all. Cover it, turn off the heat, walk away. Just give it a few minutes, give it another 5 to 7 minutes. Meanwhile, you could be preparing potatoes, vegetables, or anything else that you want to serve it with. In the interest of saving time, I already have one here that's been resting. As you see, the steam has accumulated around the edge, and you can see the juices there. Oh, this is going to be so juicy and wonderful. So then you just want to slice it. This particular one, we're going to slice on a diagonal, so when we place it over our vegetables, you can still see the steam there. See how it's not dry at all? See that juice? It's nice and tender and soft. And what I've done here is I've already plated it over a nice bed of greens. We have some dried tomatoes, some kale, onions, and garlic. And we're ready to go. From the magic of my kitchen to yours, this is Wendy from Balanced Health.